Have you ever noticed how two people can experience the same situation, yet one sees opportunity while the other sees only obstacles? One person loses their job and discovers their true calling, while another spirals into despair. What makes the difference? The answer lies not in the circumstances themselves, but in the garden of the mind, a teaching that Buddha shared over 2,500 years ago that remains profoundly relevant today. In this journey together, we'll explore how Buddhist wisdom can transform the way you perceive life, turning even the darkest moments into opportunities for growth and awakening. You'll discover practical techniques that monks have used for millennia to cultivate inner peace, regardless of external chaos. Part 1: The Master Gardener's Wisdom, a Zen Story of Transformation. Once, in ancient Japan, there lived a renowned Zen master named Ryokan who tended a small temple garden. One autumn morning, a young merchant arrived at the temple gates, his face etched with despair. He had lost everything, his business had failed, his wife had left him, and he saw nothing but darkness ahead. "Master," the merchant cried, "everywhere I look, I see only suffering and loss. How can anyone find good in such a cruel world?" Ryokan smiled gently and led the man to his garden. Half of it was withered and brown, filled with dying plants and fallen leaves. The other half bloomed with vibrant chrysanthemums and evergreen pines. "Tell me," Ryokan asked, "what do you see?" The merchant pointed immediately to the withered section. "Death. Decay. Just like my life." Ryokan nodded thoughtfully. "Interesting. My young apprentice was here yesterday. Do you know what he saw in that same spot?" The merchant shook his head. "He saw fertile compost forming, next spring's garden being born, and the eternal cycle of renewal. He thanked me for showing him such beauty." The master then picked up 2 seeds, identical in appearance. "These seeds contain the same potential. But one I will plant with thoughts of doubt and neglect it with worry. The other I will plant with faith and tend with positive intention. Which garden do you think will flourish?" The merchant began to understand. "But master, how can I change what I see when pain is all I've known?" Ryokan led him to a small pond. The water was murky from recent rain. "Look into this water. What do you see?" "Nothing but mud and darkness," the merchant replied. "Wait," said Ryokan. They sat in silence for an hour. Gradually, the sediment settled, and the water cleared. The merchant gasped. He could now see beautiful koi fish swimming below, golden and orange, which had been there all along. "The fish never left," Ryokan explained. "They were always present. But when your mind is stirred with the mud of negative thinking, you cannot see the beauty that surrounds you. This is the first teaching. Your thoughts are seeds that create your reality." Part 2: Thoughts as Seeds of Reality, the Foundation of Mental Training. Buddha once said, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought." The mind is everything. What we think, we become. This isn't mere philosophy, it's a practical blueprint for transformation that modern neuroscience now confirms. Imagine walking through a bustling city street. One person notices only the trash, the noise, the angry faces. Another sees the architectural beauty, hears music from a street performer, and notices a child's laughter. Same street, same moment, completely different realities. Why? Because consciousness is selective, and we train it through repetition. In Buddhist philosophy, this concept is called citta-bhavana, the cultivation of the mind. Every thought you entertain is like watering a particular seed in your mental garden. Negative thoughts, anger, fear, resentment, are seeds too, and the more attention you give them, the stronger they grow. Consider Sarah, a nurse from California who attended a Buddhist meditation retreat. She shared, every morning, the first thoughts were about everything that could go wrong that day. My mind was like a news channel broadcasting disasters 24/7. The realization came that this was programming the brain to seek out problems. Through meditation practice, Sarah learned to observe thoughts without judgment, a practice Buddhists call vipassana or insight meditation. She discovered that thoughts aren't facts, they're simply mental events that arise and pass like clouds in the sky. The transformation didn't happen overnight, Sarah explained. But after 3 months of daily practice, something remarkable shifted. Morning thoughts became gratitude for another day. Problems didn't disappear, but the additional suffering created through mental commentary stopped. Part 3, Mindful Input Selection, Guarding the Gates of Perception. Buddha taught about the importance of Indriya Samvara, guarding the sense doors. In our modern world, this ancient teaching has never been more crucial. Think about it, every day, you're bombarded with thousands of inputs, social media feeds designed to trigger outrage, news cycles that profit from fear, conversations that spiral into complaint sessions. Your mind, like a sponge, absorbs it all. But here's the profound question: are you choosing what enters your mental garden, or is it choosing you? Here's a powerful exercise to try. For 1 week, track your mental diet. What do you read first thing in the morning? Which conversations do you engage in? What content do you consume before bed? Now ask yourself, would you feed your body the mental equivalent of what you're feeding your mind? There's a contemporary Zen story about a wise teacher who never watched the news. A student challenged him, "How can you be informed about the world?" The teacher replied, "I am informed about what matters. If something is truly important, it will find its way to me through conscious, caring people, not through screens designed to harvest my attention for profit. Meanwhile, I fill my mind with wisdom, beauty, and teachings that help me serve others better." This isn't about living in denial. It's about conscious consumption. When you guard your mental gates, you're not hiding from reality. You're choosing which reality you'll reinforce through attention. Part 4, Breaking Free from Autopilot, the Art of Conscious Response. Most of us live on autopilot, reacting to life through patterns established years or even decades ago. Buddhism calls these sanskara, mental formations or habitual patterns that drive our responses. Picture this: you're driving to work, and someone cuts you off in traffic. Instantly, anger flares. Your heart races, you might curse or honk your horn. But wait, did you choose this response? Or did it just happen? This is autopilot in action, and it's the opposite of what Buddha called sati, mindfulness or conscious awareness. Take the case of Michael, a businessman with a terrible temper. "It's just who I am," he'd say. "My father was the same way." But during a meditation retreat, he had a breakthrough. During meditation, while watching the breath, a memory of a recent argument arose. But this time, it appeared differently, like watching a movie. The triggered response became visible, the familiar pattern engaging, and for the first time, the realization came: we are not our reactions. We are the awareness that can observe them. This revelation changed everything for Michael. He began practicing what Buddhists call the sacred pause, that brief moment between stimulus and response where choice lives. Now, when anger rises, There's literally a pause for 3 breaths, Michael explains. The question arises, will this response serve or enslave? More often than not, a different choice emerges. If you're finding value in these teachings, consider subscribing to Buddha Coha for more wisdom that can transform your daily life. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an opportunity for growth and awakening. Part 5, Reframing Challenges, the Hidden Gift in Every Obstacle. In Buddhism, there's a powerful concept called dukkha, often translated as suffering, but more accurately understood as the unsatisfactoriness of life. But here's what many miss: Buddha didn't teach that life is suffering. He taught that suffering is our teacher. Consider the lotus flower, Buddhism's most iconic symbol. It grows not despite the mud, but because of it. The mud provides nutrients essential for the lotus's stunning beauty. Your challenges are your mud. A transformative story comes from Thailand. A young monk named Ajahn was assigned to the monastery's kitchen, though he dreamed of spending his days in meditation. He resented every moment, viewing kitchen duty as an obstacle to his spiritual progress. One day, the senior monk asked him, "What have you learned in meditation?" "To be present, to observe without judgment, to find peace in each moment," Ajahn replied. "And in the kitchen?" Ajahn was about to complain when realization struck. The kitchen was his meditation hall. Chopping vegetables became a practice in mindfulness. Serving food became an act of compassion. Cleaning dishes became a lesson in impermanence. The focus on formal practice had obscured the teaching right in front, Ajahn later reflected. Every challenge was actually an opportunity for awakening, perfectly designed for what needed to be learned. Think about your current challenges. What if they're not obstacles but precisely calibrated lessons for your growth? What if that difficult person in your life is your greatest teacher, showing you where you still need to develop patience or compassion? Part 6, The Gratitude Revolution, Training Your Mind to See Abundance. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good practice. In Buddhism, it's a radical reorientation of consciousness. The Pali word katanutta means not just gratitude, but knowing what has been done, a deep recognition of the countless conditions that support your existence. Here's a life-changing experiment. Every morning, before your feet touch the floor, name 5 things you're grateful for. But here's the key: make them different every day. No repeats for 30 days. What happens? Your mind becomes a detective for blessings. You start noticing things you've taken for granted: the way morning light filters through your window, the fact that clean water flows from your tap, and that your lungs breathe without your conscious effort. Jennifer's story illustrates this powerfully. After losing her home in a fire, she thought gratitude practice would be impossible. How could anyone be grateful when everything was lost? But starting small made the difference. Gratitude for survival, for neighbors who offered shelter, for firefighters who risked their lives. Then something shifted. Things became visible that were never noticed when the house was full of possessions. The incredible kindness of strangers. Inner strength that was previously unknown. The freedom that comes from losing attachments. The fire destroyed the house, but it revealed the true home, which was never in the building, but in the connections with others. Buddha taught that craving, tanha, is the root of suffering. We suffer not because we don't have enough, but because we're focused on what's missing rather than what's present. Gratitude reverses this equation. Part 7, Visualization and Mental Rehearsal, Becoming Before Being. In Tibetan Buddhism, practitioners spend years doing detailed visualizations, imagining themselves as enlightened beings. This isn't fantasy, it's mental training based on a profound understanding. Your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. Modern Olympic athletes use this same principle. They visualize perfect performances repeatedly, and their bodies respond as if they've actually practiced. You can apply this to training your mind for positivity. Here's a powerful practice. Each night before sleep, visualize tomorrow's challenging situations. But here's the key: see yourself responding with wisdom, patience, and kindness. See yourself finding the good, maintaining peace, choosing love over fear. A teacher named David discovered this technique's power. Parent-teacher conferences were dreaded events. Some parents were confrontational, leading to defensive responses. Then the practice of visualizing these meetings the night before began. The visualization included remaining calm, finding common ground, remembering that everyone wanted the best for the child. Initial skepticism gave way to amazement. When an angry parent arrived, something remarkable happened. Instead of the usual defensiveness, the exact words from the visualization emerged. Calmness prevailed, compassion flowed, and solutions became the focus. The parent's anger dissolved, and partnership replaced adversity. This isn't about positive thinking that ignores reality. It's about rehearsing your highest self so that when challenges arise, you have a practiced response ready. Part 8: Self-Compassion, the Foundation of Sustainable Change. Perhaps the most revolutionary Buddhist teaching for Westerners is self-compassion, metta-directed inward. We're often our own harshest critics, believing that self-criticism motivates improvement. But Buddha taught the opposite. Transformation happens through love, not punishment. Dr. Kristin Neff's research on self-compassion confirms what Buddhist practitioners have known for millennia. People who practice self-compassion are more resilient, more motivated, and more likely to achieve their goals than those who rely on self-criticism. Think about how you speak to yourself when you make mistakes. Would you speak to a dear friend that way? Would you speak to a child learning to walk that way? A meditation student once shared, the realization came that there was an attempt to hate oneself into being a better person. Every meditation session became a catalog of failures. No wonder misery persisted. The traditional Buddhist loving-kindness meditation became the practice, starting with self-directed compassion. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. Initially, the words felt hollow, even false. But persistence paid off. After a month, something cracked open, came the tearful revelation. 40 years of self-hatred had been carried unnecessarily. When self-compassion finally matched the compassion freely given to others, everything changed. Not the circumstances, those remained the same. But the relationship with oneself transformed, and that changed everything. Part 9: The Ripple Effect, How Your Transformation Transforms the World. Here's a profound truth from the Dhammapada. When watching after yourself, you watch after others. When watching after others, you watch after yourself. Your mental training isn't just personal development, it's a gift to everyone around you. When you train your mind to see the good, you become a beacon of possibility for others. Consider Robert's transformation. A corporate manager known for legendary pessimism, his negativity made meetings universally dreaded. Then his daughter was diagnosed with a serious illness. The realization struck that negativity was poisoning not just one life, but everyone around, Robert explained. If time with my daughter was limited, it wouldn't be wasted in darkness. Robert began serious meditation practice, committed to gratitude journaling, and started each day with the intention to find something positive in every interaction. The transformation was remarkable, but what happened next was even more powerful. His team, initially suspicious, began to change too. Meetings became productive. Creative solutions emerged. The entire department's performance improved. There was no preaching or attempts to change anyone, Robert explained. Just personal change. But energy is contagious. When light consistently enters a room, others either join or leave. Most joined. Part 10. Practical Daily Practices, Your Mental Training Routine. Let's make this wisdom practical. Here's a daily mental training routine, based on centuries of Buddhist practice, adapted for modern life. Morning, 10 minutes before checking your phone, sit quietly for 5 minutes. Watch your breath. Notice what thoughts arise without judgment. Set an intention for the day. Today, I will look for beauty. Today, I will respond with kindness. Today, I will find lessons in challenges. Name 5 specific things you're grateful for. Midday, 5 minutes, take 3 conscious breaths before lunch. Ask yourself, what good have I noticed so far today? If nothing comes, look harder. Send loving kindness to someone who's challenged you. Evening, 10 minutes, review your day without judgment. Where did autopilot reactions occur? Celebrate moments of conscious choice. Visualize tomorrow's challenges with wise responses. End with gratitude for the day's teachings, especially the difficult ones. Throughout the day, practice the sacred pause before responding to triggers. When negative thoughts arise, don't fight them. Acknowledge them, then ask, is this thought useful? Is it true? Is it kind? Look for beauty in unexpected places, the pattern of rain on windows, the dedication of a bus driver, the resilience of a weed growing through concrete. Part 11. When darkness seems overwhelming, advanced practices for difficult times. Sometimes, life delivers blows that seem impossible to reframe positively. Loss of loved ones. Serious illness. Betrayal. In these moments, forcing positivity becomes what Buddhists call spiritual bypassing, using spiritual concepts to avoid genuine pain. Here's what real Buddhist practice looks like in darkness. First, acknowledge the pain fully. Buddha's first noble truth isn't life is suffering, but suffering exists. Denying pain doesn't transcend it, it suppresses it, where it festers and grows. A famous Buddhist story tells of a woman who lost her child and came to Buddha, begging him to bring the child back. Instead of dismissing her grief, Buddha sent her on a quest: find a mustard seed from a house that had never known death. She went door to door, and at each house, she heard stories of loss. She returned without the seed but with understanding. Grief is universal, and in our shared suffering, we find connection and compassion. When you're in deep pain, 1. Feel it fully, but set boundaries. Permit yourself to grieve for set periods. 2. Look for the helpers. As Mr. Rogers said, in every tragedy, some help. Focus there. 3. Find meaning through service. Helping others who suffer similarly transforms pain into purpose. 4. Remember impermanence. Both joy and sorrow pass. This isn't dismissing pain but remembering its temporary nature. Part 12. The Neuroscience of Mental Training, why this actually works. Buddhism intuited what neuroscience now proves. Your brain is plastic, constantly rewiring based on what you practice. This is called neuroplasticity, and it means you're not stuck with the brain you have, you're creating the brain you're becoming. Every time you consciously choose to see good, you strengthen neural pathways associated with positivity. Dr. Rick Hanson calls this experience-dependent neuroplasticity. You can literally sculpt your brain through conscious practice. The key is what researchers call installation, not just having positive experiences but savoring them for at least 20 seconds, allowing them to transfer from short-term to long-term memory. Try this. Next time something good happens, however small, stop. Breathe it in. Feel it in your body. Stay with it for 20 seconds. You're literally rewiring your brain for happiness. Part 13. Common obstacles and how to overcome them. This feels fake. Of course it does, you're building new neural pathways. A violin feels awkward to a guitarist at first. Persist. Authenticity comes through practice. My life really is objectively terrible. Viktor Frankl survived Nazi concentration camps by finding meaning in unimaginable suffering. You may not be able to change your circumstances, but you always have the freedom to choose your response. I don't have time. You have time for what you prioritize. 1 minute of conscious breathing is better than no practice. Start there. I tried and failed. Buddha taught about the second arrow. The first arrow is life's inevitable pain. The second arrow is the suffering we add through our reaction. When you fail at seeing the good, don't shoot yourself with the second arrow of self-criticism. Simply begin again. Part 14, The Ultimate Secret. It's not about positive thinking. Here's what many get wrong. Buddhist mental training isn't about positive thinking. It's about clear seeing, yatha buddhananadasana, seeing things as they truly are. This means seeing both the mud and the lotus, the decay and the growth, the loss and the lesson. It's about expanding your perception to include the full picture, not just the part your conditioning highlights. A Zen master was asked, "What's enlightenment?" He replied, "When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep." The student was confused. "Everyone does that." "No," the master corrected. "When most people eat, they think about 1,000 things. When they sleep, they're planning tomorrow." Enlightenment is complete presence with what is. Training your mind to see good doesn't mean ignoring bad. It means being present enough to see completely, and in that complete seeing, you discover that good and bad are both temporary waves on the ocean of existence. Your journey begins now. Remember the merchant from our opening story? He returned to the temple a year later, but Ryokan didn't recognize him. His face glowed with peace, his eyes sparkled with joy. "Master," he said, "I'm the merchant who saw only death in your garden. What do you see now?" Ryokan asked, gesturing to the same garden, half withered, half blooming. The merchant smiled. "I see the complete cycle of existence. I see beauty in the blooming and wisdom in the withering. I see that both are necessary, both are temporary, and both are sacred. And in your life, the same, Master. My business failure led me to discover my true calling as a teacher. My wife's departure allowed us both to find relationships where we could truly grow. What I thought was darkness was actually the soil from which my new life grew. This is your invitation. Not to deny darkness, but to train your perception to include light. Not to force positivity, but to develop the capacity to see completely. Buddha's last words were, "Work out your salvation with diligence." Your mental training is this work. Every moment offers a choice. Will you water the seeds of suffering or the seeds of awakening? As Buddha taught in the Dhammapada, drop by drop is the water pot filled. Likewise, the wise one, gathering it little by little, fills oneself with good. Your transformation won't happen overnight. But with consistent practice, drop by drop, you're filling your consciousness with a new way of seeing. 6 months from now, you'll be amazed at how differently you perceive the same world. Remember Sarah, the nurse who transformed her morning catastrophizing into gratitude? She recently shared, "It's the same life, but it's completely different. Problems still arise, but they're met with curiosity instead of dread." Happiness isn't about having a perfect life, it's about bringing a trained mind to an imperfect one. Here's your challenge: for the next 30 days, commit to just one practice from this teaching. Maybe it's morning gratitude. Maybe it's the sacred pause. Maybe it's visualization before sleep. Choose one and commit fully. Document your journey. Notice what shifts. Share your experience with others who are seeking light in their darkness. If this teaching has touched your heart, please subscribe to Buddha Coha for more transformative wisdom. Click the notification bell to join our community of conscious beings committed to awakening. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that they have the power to train their mind and transform their life. Remember, every moment is a chance to begin again. Every breath is an opportunity to choose differently. Every challenge is a teacher in disguise. The garden of your mind is waiting. What will you plant today? May you be happy. May you see clearly. May you find good in all things. May your practice benefit all beings. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Thank you for joining us on this journey of transformation. Your presence here isn't accidental, it's a sign that you're ready for this teaching. Trust the process, be patient with yourself, and remember, the lotus needs the mud to bloom.